my name is Camilla Augustus and welcome back. Today I'm so excited to be introducing our 9th through 10th grade counselors. Joining us is Ms. Lena Kilgore and Ms. Kathy Henson to tell their stories and to give you guys a little advice to carry you through the rest of the school year.
Hi guys, how are you?
Hi Camilla, how are you?
Hey Camilla.
Good. Thank you guys for coming on.
Sure, no problem.
Yeah, definitely. It's our pleasure, really.
Yes, I'm very glad to have you. So just jumping right into the interview, could you guys tell me a little bit about yourselves outside of school?
As you just saw, I have a little baby. She's 1.5 years old, and I have a 9, almost 10-year-old stepdaughter, and my husband, he's military, so I get to play the role of mom a lot, and I'm a short order cook on the weekends for this family of 4. So
Nice. Miss Henson?
Okay, so I am married and I have 4 daughters. My youngest one is the only one still living at home. But my oldest one is the counselor at Kilgore Middle School. And then I have my second oldest is a teacher, a 4th grade teacher in Auburn. And then my third one is at Auburn. And then Lexi, of course, is at OMHS. And yeah, so we're a pretty big family, but it's so strange to only have 3 of us at home now. So that's been different.
Yeah, that's cool. You guys both seem like you have a very involved family life. That's good.
yeah.
So what are your hobbies to maybe like do with your family or even by yourself?
Are there hobbies as a parent?
That's what I was just thinking. I was like, oh, in our free time? Really, I like to read. That's what I do for myself. I'm kind of an introvert. So, well, I should say I am an introvert. And since Elizabeth. Since so much of my time is spent like in my job with other people, and then I have a big family, when I get time to myself, my family will tell you I retreat with a book somewhere and just like try to hunker down. So that's my favorite thing to do in my small amount of free time.
Nice.
I guess for myself, I really, aside from doing things with my kids and my family, you know, I used to say I like to read, but now that I have a little one, I don't have time for that. I feel like she's all about reading. She loves books, so I do read her books. I don't read books for myself anymore because I'm not sure where I find that time. But I do enjoy cooking. I know I said I'm a short order cook for my family on the weekends, but I really do enjoy cooking. It's something that I find relaxing and peaceful, and so. Just trying out new recipes, using family recipes, that kind of stuff is definitely my thing.
Nice. So what's your favorite dish to cook?
I don't know what my favorite thing to cook is, other than I do make a really good pound cake. And the more stressed I am, the better the butter gets creamed. And so, the smoothing and the blending of the butter and the sugar, the more stressed I am, the better that turns out, I've noticed. So
Have you gotten a chance to try it, Miss Henson?
Oh yes, absolutely. We like having people that like to bake and cook, because you never know when they're going to show up in the office with something. Of course, that's why I've gained weight since I started working.
So when did you guys first start working at Oak Mountain High School as a counselor?
Well, let's see. I'm in my 4th year there, I believe. Yeah, so this is my 4th year. And Lena came last year, right?
Yep, this is my 2nd year. So 4th year in counseling in general, but 2nd year at Oak Mountain.
Cool. And Miss Kilgore, where did you come from before that?
I came from BB Comer. I was at the high school there, so I had 7th through 12th grade.
Nice. So did you like the transition from that place to Oak Mountain?
I did. It definitely was a huge change of pace. There, I helped out a in a lot of different roles. It was a smaller school. It had approximately 415, 425 kids. Versus our school, we've got 1,500. So the whole school, 7th through 12th grade there is now our one grade level. So that change of pace of being able to be a counselor and not have so many hats and roles, as well as having the support of 3 other counselors right there in the same building. That is something that is so valuable. Having that team, having the connection, the support, the sounding board, that has made me enjoy being a counselor so much more than before.
This has led me, I was going to say, this has led me into my second question. What do you love most about being a counselor?
I love, getting in there with students and just really discussing the what's going on in their world. This is such a unique time, especially this year, and COVID. That's such a unique thing that we're all experiencing in some form or fashion, and just being able to connect and let students know that they've been heard, and I hear them. I'm with you, and I want to encourage you to keep pushing, keep doing the hard work.
Ms. Henson, what about yourself?
I guess because our culture is so much about doing, achieving, and, being busy 24/7. It's so nice when you sit down in the office with a student, and I know this sounds terrible, but when maybe they're going through a crisis or trying to deal with some really overwhelming feelings, I think a lot of us realize we don't even give ourselves permission to take time to work through any of those feelings or things that are going on inside of us. And so I always feel like that time is really special when I'm sitting there with somebody, and I guess creating a safe space and giving them that time to feel, I guess, and to process stuff that's going on in their lives. Because like I said, you can just be going from morning till night and not even checking in with yourself, and you don't realize how exhausting it is. So I like providing that space.
Yeah. What made you guys want to become counselors, or what was the exact time or moment that you knew that you wanted to become a counselor?
It's kind of funny because when I graduated from high school, you'll appreciate this as a high school student. I graduated from high school. I did not know what I wanted to do with my life, but I did go to college, and I did not know what I wanted to do with my life. And so I picked my favorite subject, which was English, and I got a degree in English, and I did not know what I wanted to do with my life. And then I got married and had kids, and so I stayed home for a while with my kids. And then I went back to school. And when I went back to school, I actually thought I was going to go into nursing, because, and that is still a helping profession, but I don't, for some reason, I just thought I was going to go into nursing. And then I took a psychology class, and I just knew, I just knew from that first class, wow, like this is what I'm supposed to do. So I switched immediately to psychology, and then went into counseling, just because I wanted to work with people and do psychology stuff. Like, it just made so much sense to me, and I knew it would help people.
For myself, I started out leaving high school. I went to the University of Alabama and became an elementary ed. I taught kindergarten, and then I moved on and moved to 5th grade, and that was my jam for a while. I really enjoyed 5th grade. And while I was there, I had some very tough students, just some kind of heartbreaking situations that you can't fix, you can't save. But I realized these students needed an advocate. And as a teacher, I can be their advocate, but I personally feel like I didn't have the skills to know what I was doing. And I didn't want to advocate for them and encourage them incorrectly. I am a little bit of a perfectionist, and so I really didn't want to do something the wrong way. And so I proceeded to go to school. My last year teaching 5th grade, I was in school full time and had a full classroom. And then I did my internship. I actually did my internship with Miss Henson when she was at the elementary school. And, I had a couple students who it just made sense that what they needed was a counselor. They needed that person in the school to advocate for them academically, emotionally, and mentally. And so it just really encouraged me. And when I graduated from Montevallo with school counseling, everything felt right. It just felt good. It felt right. My heart felt full. So.
That's good. It's really good to hear your stories and know that it's okay to change. And as a high school student that also doesn't know what's going on or what they want to do in the future, that's really good to hear.
Take the next career change. Yeah. Make that career change later on. It's okay. As a high school student, when I first was graduating beginning of my senior year, I wanted to be a pastry chef. By the end of that school year, I wound up in education. So it's okay.
And no time is ever wasted, in my opinion. So it's not like, I don't really think you can make a wrong step, because even if you spent 10 years in one industry and decided to switch to something else, you're gaining knowledge and skills, even just about yourself, that you would take on to that next career or whatever. So the days of, picking a career when you're 18 and staying in it till you retire at 60, those days are kind of gone. People don't really tend to do that as much anymore. Even, we've had some teachers that retired last year, that have already moved on to new careers. Do you know what I mean? Like they spent their 30 or 25 years in teaching, and now they're selling real estate or working in their husband's business, or, so there's a lot of life out there for you. So don't feel locked in. Just take the next step.
Wow. You guys gave me some great advice. Thank you so much. Speaking of advice, what are some concerns that your students come to you about most often, and what is normally your response to that?
Grades. Grades have been and maybe I'm projecting this because that's my concern right now, in full transparency. But a lot of students are concerned about grades. Oak Mountain is very academically driven and inclined, and it's a wonderful, wonderful school that way. And our students, y'all are so intelligent. You guys really are. We just, sometimes we all struggle to ask for help. And so a lot of times students come to me, I have them and we're talking about grades, and, my biggest encouragement is your teachers are human too. They are approachable. They may not come across that way at first, but once you're vulnerable with them, once they get to know you, you just got to reach out to them. If you let them in, they will show you so much more grace than you just sitting back and not doing anything about it. So grades is a big thing. And then sometimes peers, people not being nice sometimes.
I was going to say, and this may go along with grades, but I feel like anxiety is what I see the most. Lots and lots of anxiety. And while most kids can point to what's making them anxious, and sometimes it is, the pressure of school, the pressure of, home, whatever it is, I still feel like a lot of kids don't really know what it is. There's just kind of a heightened sense of anxiety, and especially this year. And I hear this from my own daughter, is that everything just feels yuck. Like everything just feels kind of like heightened tension everywhere. And I know that a lot of that has to do with COVID, that idea of I could get pulled out and sent home for 2 weeks at any moment, and so there's just, I don't know, this just angsty feeling all the time. Mm-hmm. And for kids who already had anxiety, it's like doubly so. So I've seen a lot of that this year.
Mm-hmm. And what is some of your advice as to how kids can deal with that?
what's in your
You know,
cookie toolbox?
um, anxiety is hard. Anxiety is not really something that you get rid of. It's more something like you manage. And so there are different ways to do that. And people really do have to find what works for them. For me, it's kind of a cognitive behavioral thing where you challenge those thoughts. Like, what, if somebody's kind of really feeling anxious, I'm like, what are you thinking? I'm always like, what are you thinking? What are you thinking about? What are the thoughts that are looping through your head? And once they start verbalizing that, then we can start going, okay, is that real? Do you really think that's going to happen? Or what if it did happen? Then what? We kind of follow that through. Okay, so then what? What's the worst thing that could happen, and how would you handle that? Because I think verbalizing it is the most helpful thing, because once they hear themselves talking, they can talk themselves down. But a lot of times people just come in, they feel overwhelmed with anxiety and they don't even know where it's coming from. So yeah, talking through it, there's no real getting rid of it, but there is managing it.
Yeah, that's good. So last question. What is a piece of advice that you've given to a student, but you were also able to take for yourself?
Lena?
Easy answer. Breathe.
Yeah.
This too shall pass. You will get through this. Just, you got to breathe, and you got to do the hard work and look for the lesson. And sometimes it's hard. It is hard. Being a parent's hard. I never believed it when my parents said it, and now that I am a parent, I am like, hey, I know this happened when I was younger, but what did we do? Or can you give me some advice? And it is very humbling to ask for help, and it's okay to ask for help. We all need help. It takes a village, even as an adult, it takes a village. So
I would say one of the things I tell my students that I know is really good advice, but I'm not always good at following it, and then I need to work on myself, is I just tell them to feel all the feelings, not try to just chase feeling good all the time and deny the harder feelings. I said, just feel all the feelings, because it's by feeling them that they pass, because emotions are always in motion. But if you stuff them down, then they build up and create problems for you. So if you're feeling sad, just let yourself feel sad. If you're feeling angry, let yourself feel angry. It will pass. I'm not as good at that all the time, because the truth is, as humans, we always want to feel good. And so when those scary feelings, sad feelings, whatever, we're like, how can I make this go away? How can I make it go away and feel better? But sometimes we don't need to feel better. Sometimes we just need to feel. So I still work on that myself.
Wow. That was good. That was great. So thank you guys so much for coming on. I really enjoyed having you. I've taken in a lot of great advice, and I hope a lot of students that watch this are able to take away a lot from it as well.
yeah, thank you.
So. Maybe they'll want to come see us. Yeah.
Yes. All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
And that was Miss Lena Kilgore and Miss Kathy Henson. If you have any questions or concerns, be sure to visit them in the counselor's office near the front entrance. And as always, be sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Oak MTN Media. And for Oak Media, I'm Camilla Augustus.